Hello everyone! This hour on Verbling. The next in my Learning Through Pictures series, we're doing our last class in the unit called What's My Line? All about jobs and occupations. In this final part of What's My Line, we're going to be working on taking the vocabulary that we've learned and turning it into a story. Well, more about that in just a minute. First, a little bit about me. I'm John Eric, your Verbling teacher for this hour. I'm an American teacher from New York, hanging out in Lisbon, Portugal to bring you this class. By the way, here are 3 quick rules to help you participate. Don't forget to turn off, tune in, and open up, which means turn off your microphone when you're not speaking so we can keep the classroom quiet. Tune in to the new words that you're learning when you are speaking so I can give you feedback and correct you. Finally, open up to your classmates. Relax and have fun. We're all here to learn, and this is a safe and respectful place to practice your English. So, you're the only one here, Rafael. It's going to be a private lesson if no one shows up.
Hi.
It's going to be
Can
just
you hear
me
me?
and you. Yep. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Well, everyone's on holidays. Oh, look, here's some new people now. Oh, look, people are coming in. I was getting worried. You're not alone, Rafael. You're not alone. See,
Right.
we've got Asma as well. Hello, Asma. How are you?
Hello, teacher. I'm fine. Thank you for asking.
Good. You sound very far away, but I can hear you.
Okay, and now? Okay.
Now you sound kind of far away. But judging by the picture, you're in the middle of a lake somewhere, so it's understandable that we can't hear you. But that's all right. We can hear you well enough. And let's say hello to who's next to you. We've got Alejandra. Hello, Alejandra. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Good
Very
morning.
good. And where are you from, Alejandra?
I am from Colombia.
From Colombia. Okay, very good. So, I was worried because earlier today there was nobody floating around Verbling, and I was a bit scared because I thought everyone was on holiday. But we got some people coming in now, so that's good. So Alejandro from Colombia, Asma from Tunisia, Rafael, you're in Brazil, in Rio, if I remember right. I think that's right. Isn't it Rio?
Right.
Okay, my memory is not failing yet. And Catherine. Hi, Catherine. Where are you from?
I'm from Colombia.
From Colombia as well. Oh my goodness. Do you know Alejandra?
No.
Just a coincidence.
No.
All right. So, in Learning Through Pictures, remember, we're doing a unit, and this is the last class of the unit. So, we've gotten a lot of vocabulary that we need to put in some form that you can remember it for the future. So, the easiest way to do that is to tell a story using the vocabulary. You can try to memorize it, you can try to do exercises, that's fine. But when it comes to remembering things, we remember stories the best. So we're going to try to create a story together. First, let's go forward here, my little presentation. In Learning Through Pictures, actually in learning new words, we have 3 stages. First, asking pictures. That's when we see a set of pictures and we use questions to try to figure out what the picture is, what the English word is in the picture. Let me see if I can give you a quick example from other classes. Give me just a second here. I have to open up another document. One moment. Here's an example of that. In last week's class and earlier today, we looked at occupations. So we asked each other about which occupation was in which position. For example, what's the second to the last job? What does the person do in the second to last position in the top row? So that's number 5. We figured out that that guy was a shoemaker. What's the job of the person to his right? That's number 6. So we guessed that he was a soldier. So we went through different occupation words this week and last week, earlier today. So that's stage one. In stage two, we're going to do that today, in this hour. We begin to tell a story by first pitching. It says pitching a story. It should say pitching an idea. Does everyone know what a pitch is? If I pitch an idea to you, what am I doing? Does anyone know that expression, to pitch an idea?
I don't.
Okay, everyone was very quiet. Asma, you should remember this. You've been in the class before. Do you know what a sales pitch is? Asma, what's a sales pitch?
No, I didn't.
No.
I didn't attend this class. Pitch, no, I know picture.
Oh, okay, but not picture. This is the verb to pitch, which means to throw fast. Okay, if you're a salesman or a saleswoman, you often have a sales pitch. A sales pitch is a presentation of an idea that's meant to persuade someone to buy something. A sales pitch. So here, to create a story, the first thing we're going to do is to create a kind of a sales pitch. Something you could go to Steven Spielberg to get money because your idea for the story is so great that he's going to want to make it into a movie. So let me just briefly go over how to do it, and then we'll try it together. At the bottom of the screen, I'm describing asking pictures. It says the first stage lets us discover vocabulary. You ask a question to your partner, he or she will guess the right word. When you are asked the question, do the same, but also try to repeat the words used in forming the question, like the location and the description. So that was what we were doing when we looked at these occupations. If I said, what's the job at the far right on the top row? You have to repeat at the far right of the top row. There's a soldier at the top right at the far right of the top row. Okay, and then I gave some examples of questions. Here in stage two, before we can create a story, we have to pitch an idea to the class. In order to do that, I'll give you a structure to follow, but you'll have to fill in the details. The structure is called the Pixar Pitch, named after the company Pixar. Here's the Pixar Pitch, which is a storytelling structure from the creators of the animated movies Toy Story and Finding Nemo. Has anyone seen those films, Toy Story or Finding Nemo?
I did.
Which one? Both?
Both. But a long time ago.
Well, to use the Pixar Pitch, in order for a film to get the green light to go ahead, the creators of the story had to be able to say the story using those 6 lines in front of you. Once upon a time, and every day, but one day, and because of that, and especially because of that, until finally. So, in order to practice this ourselves, Raphael, I want you to tell me the story of Toy Story. Now, you're going to try to use those 6 lines to help you, okay, but I can jump in and help you as well. By the way, I never saw Toy Story, so I don't know the story. I've only seen clips of it. I haven't seen the whole movie.
But I confess that I don't remember the story.
Oh, it doesn't have to be everything. What's the main character of the story?
I think the name of the main character is Woody.
Is Woody. And
Yes,
what is that?
Woody.
What kind of creature is Woody? What is he? What kind of toy?
He's a toy, a cowboy.
He's a cowboy.
Yes, a cowboy.
Very good. So, our story would go like this. Once upon a time, there was a cowboy. But not just any cowboy. He was a toy cowboy called Woody. That would be the first line using the Pixar Pitch. Now we have to create the background. The character can't have a story unless the character wants something. So we first have to say what the character's life was like. And every day what would Woody do? What was his life like, Raphael? Was it fun or was it boring?
And every day it was funny because he likes uh, to play with his honor
Ah,
and
okay. Every day
his
it was
bedroom.
fun, not funny, but fun,
Fun. Okay.
because funny is fun is divertido, and funny is I forgot the word. I forgot the word in Portuguese. Faz-me
We
rir is funny.
actually we made this mistake because the word is the same.
Yeah, but
That's
you
why
have.
we
Oh,
made
no, it's engraçado. Engraçado is funny, but divertido is fun.
No, it is the same. We can say divertido for both of the situation.
In Brazilian Portuguese.
Uh, yeah.
In Portugal Portuguese, I think it's
Mm-hmm.
actually different. But anyway,
But we,
and every day it was fun for him because he liked playing with his owner. Okay, very good. But one day something must have happened to change his life. Am I right, Raphael?
yes.
What
One
happened?
day he got worried because his honor was growing up, and when you grow up, you don't play. You stop playing with your toys.
Absolutely.
Eh,
But one day he got worried because his owner stopped playing with him and the other toys. And because of that, he had to do something, didn't he?
And because of that, his mom said, "You should give your toys to another person, to a new child."
Hmm. Okay. So his mom is the owner's mom, right?
Right.
Okay. And especially because of that, because of being given to a new child, what happened?
Mm, that's when I don't remember.
Well, we could imagine. And especially
Uh,
because of that, we could imagine all the toys decided to go on a trek, on a big trip back to the original owner because they missed him so much. And they searched and searched until finally they found him. But by the time they found him, he was an adult and they didn't recognize him anymore, and he didn't recognize them. And it was a sad story.
yeah. Actually, he
Maybe
was at university. I remember the
I
end.
was.
Yes.
I was just guessing. I never saw it. Okay, so we're going to create a pitch of our own right now. We're going to use those occupation words. Now, the problem is that I don't think any of you were in the class for our occupation words. Am I right? Or maybe, Raphael, maybe you were in one class last week. I can't remember.
Yeah, one.
You were in one. All right. So, how are we going to do this? Well, we're going to we don't have time to review all the occupation words. So let's do this. We're going to work on 3 or 4 occupation words, and we're going to work on some other vocabulary too. I'm going to share a text with you. Give me a second here. 1 second. Let me share my doc with you. Otherwise, you can't see what we're writing. Here we go. Okay. So I want we've got 3 people, so I want 3 people to come up with 3 different occupations that you remember from earlier classes, or 3 occupations that come to mind. Raphael, give me the first. Give me a job. Something you remember from the
Um,
previous class.
Architect.
Architect. Okay, very good. And Asma, can you give me another one?
Yeah, deep sea diver.
Very good. Deep sea diver. There was a deep sea diver at the far left of the top row. I remember.
Yeah.
Okay, and who's left here? We have, oh, Alejandra, can you give me another occupation?
Civil designer.
A civil designer. Oh, Does that mean a designer who's very civil with people, a very polite designer, or a designer that designs parts of the city? What does a civil designer do?
It's different. The engineer is designer.
Uh-huh.
Uh,
What
no, what?
what does a civil designer create? What does a civil designer design?
Writing in the computer plan
Uh-huh.
the
Creates a plan.
the the program Civil 3D AutoCAD.
So the civil designer creates a plan using AutoCAD, computer-aided drafting, AutoCAD,
Yes,
or AutoCAD. Okay. And the civil designer creates plans for what, Alejandra? For streets? For cities?
excuse me, no, I don't.
The civil. What does a civil designer design? Does a civil designer design streets and intersections in a city? Streets?
Street. What is street?
Calles. Calle. How do you say street in Spanish?
Ah, okay. Yes. Calles. Yes.
Calles. Streets.
Street. Yes.
For example, let's take a look. I think I have some streets. One second. One moment. Look at this. Look at this here. Look. You can see a street in the center of the picture. Oh, wait, hold on. Sorry. One moment. One moment. Can you see that? There's a street in the center of the picture, Alejandra.
Yes.
A street. So, maybe we should look at some vocabulary. In addition to occupations, let's look at some vocabulary for where jobs can be, where they can be. So, is there a street in the center of, let's call this the town or the city? Is there a street in the center of the city? Yes, there is. Does the street have one lane or two lanes? Asma, does the street have one lane or two lanes? What do you think?
2 lanes.
It has two lanes. So the traffic can go up and down the street. Absolutely.
Teacher, we can't call it civil engineer because in my country they call it civil engineer, not civil designer.
Ah, I think you can. I guess because engineer for us is really, I think it's the same in this case, but engineer is usually someone who deals with math very heavily, a lot of math. So probably in this case, it's the same, civil engineering. Whereas being a designer is more about the look and the aesthetic. So she said civil designer, but it's okay. You could say designer or engineer, I guess. So, Raphael, do you see a curb in the picture? Do you see a curb in the picture?
The problem is that I don't know what a curb is.
Exactly. There is a curb in the picture. There's a curb at the intersection of the streets. So look at number 30. That's a curb. Can you see where number 30 is in the center? In the center?
30, let me see. Do you mean sidewalk?
I mean, in between the sidewalk and the street is a curb. In between the sidewalk and the street. C-U-R-B, curb.
Mm-hmm.
So, we've got a street.
Is it like corner?
The corner. Well, no, 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 not necessarily. The curb is the boundary between the street and the sidewalk. It's the frontier of the
Okay, okay.
sidewalk.
I understand now.
But there is a corner. In fact, there are 1, 2, 3 corners in the picture, and the
Mm-hmm.
corners have a curb as well, and the sidewalk has a curb.
Mm-hmm.
So what do we got? We've got a street, we've got 2 lanes, we've got a sidewalk, we've got a curb, we've got a corner. Not bad for just one picture. Let me see. Um, Alejandra, Alejandra, where where is the street sign in the picture? Where is the street sign in the picture?
The street sign.
Yeah, look in the chat window. Street sign. Where is the street sign in the picture?
What is a street sign? Sign.
Look at number 22 at the bottom. Look at number 22.
The corner.
It's on the corner. Very good. It's on the corner. On the corner. Very good. So where's the street sign, Alejandra? It's on the...
Excuse me.
Where is the street sign, Alejandra? It's on the corner. Repeat.
It is on the corner.
Very good. It's on the corner. Very good. And Asma, where's the mailbox? Where's the mailbox? Look at number 26. Where's the mailbox?
The mailbox is on the walking side,
Sidewalk.
a sidewalk.
Right.
Yeah, is opposite the street sign.
Very good. So it's on the sidewalk, and it's opposite the street sign. Street sign. Look in the chat window, everyone. It's opposite the street sign. That means the other side of the street. Okay, very good.
Teacher, just I have
yeah.
a question, please. Sometimes I'm confused between at the corner and on the corner. When I can say why, for example, the street sign, we cannot say it's at the corner.
No, it's not at the corner because it's not temporary, it's permanent. It's on the corner because it's on top of that sidewalk, and it's permanently on top of the sidewalk. But if it was a person, the person could be at the corner, and then a minute later, the person could be at the theater. So if you're moving from one point to another, we can say at. Not because it's temporary, but because these are specific places. The street sign is always on top of the sidewalk, so we say it's on the corner. Can a person be on the corner? Yes, a person could be on the corner if you were looking down at them, right? Maybe if you say, oh, look, he's on the corner right now. But, so the difference is this. The street sign is always on the corner. A person can be on the corner or at the corner, depending on if they're moving from one point to another, then we say at, or depending on how you're looking at them. So the basic thing is, if it's a specific point, it's at. That's the basic idea with that. It's a specific point, particularly if you're moving. For example, do we have another at? We don't have any other ats. I can't think of any other ats now. Let's do another on. What's another on? Okay, yeah. How about this one? Is there a poster? Is there a poster in this street scene somewhere? Do you see the poster, Asma?
Poster?
Poster.
The post means?
Not post, but poster. Poster.
Like a frame?
Like a frame.
Okay.
Sort of like a frame.
Maybe on the wall. On the wall.
On the wall of the what?
I don't know this one. What's it called?
Well, it's a picture of Bambi. Bambi's a very famous cartoon, right?
Okay.
So what kind of building do you think that is?
Yeah. Okay. So it's on the wall of Bambi,
Not of Bambi, but of the movie theater.
of the movie.
On the wall.
Okay.
So we're going to say the poster is on the wall of the movie theater. Like that.
Movie theater.
There you go. Let's say a quick hello to, I can't see who it is. It says Rosario. I don't
Yes.
think you're Rosario, are you?
Yes, I am.
Oh, you are.
I'm a guy. Yeah. Well, Rosario in Spanish countries is for girls. It's a girl name, but my country, which is Italy, it's for guys.
Hello, Rosario. Where are you from in Italy?
I'm from Sicily.
You're from Sicily,
Yeah.
all the way down there. Nice
Yes.
to have you.
Thank
So-
you.
So what we're doing is, in the last couple of Saturdays, we've been learning different kinds of vocabulary words. We learned occupations.
Mm-hmm.
A long time ago, we learned words for the city and getting around the city. So we're just doing a little review right now, and then what we're going to try to do is to create a story together so that we can remember occupation words, city words, and location words. We're going to create a story to try to put all those into a form that you can remember it in the future. If you tell the story, you'll remember the vocabulary. So right now we're looking at some of the big ideas here in the city, like street,
Mm-hmm.
like lane, like sidewalk, like mailbox, like street sign, movie theater, poster, and we learn expressions like opposite from. The mailbox is opposite from the theater. On the sidewalk, so on, at the corner, on the wall, things like that. So that's our idea so far. That's actually most of what we need to know, just the location words. Tell me something, Rosario.
Mm-hmm.
Do you see a cafe in the picture?
Yeah, I see a cafe. It's right across from the movie theater.
Okay. It's across from the movie theater. Right across from the movie theater. Very good. And it's right on the what? What's number 30?
It's right on the sidewalk, on the left sidewalk of the street.
It's right on the corner.
Right on the corner. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's right on the corner. So you
Right on the
can't
corner.
miss it. If you're at the movie theater, just go out,
And there is
make
a
a
big
right.
sign right there, and red and yellow sign. It says cafe.
You can't miss it.
And there's a big window, and you see people inside having a coffee, so it's right there, right in the corner.
I don't know if they're having a coffee. I can't see, but I'll take your word for it. All right. Tell me something, Alejandra. Tell me something. Oh, no, I missed you, Rafael. I'm sorry. Rafael, tell me, what's in front of the cafe window? What's in front of the cafe window? What do you think that is?
It is not fair because you just ask me things that I don't know the name.
I know. That's why I'm asking you. How do you say what in Brazilian?
Actually, I have no idea because I don't know what it is.
How
Not
do you
even
say?
in Portuguese.
Oh, you know in Portuguese.
What,
No, I
speedometer?
because I cannot
Actually,
recognize
It's
what it is.
in Portuguese, it's a paragem. Paragem do nós dizemos autocarro. You would say paragem de ônibus, I think.
Is it a parquímetro?
Placa.
No,
Placa
no,
de
no.
ônibus.
Paragem. You don't say the word paragem?
No, I don't know
No?
what it is, and I don't
Oh,
understand.
I guess it's a different word in Brazilian. So we say paragem. We say bus stop. Paragem is stop.
Ponto de ônibus.
Ponto. Oh, you say ponto. Oh, okay. We say paragem. So we say bus stop. One word.
It's a bus stop.
It's a bus stop. Where is the bus stop?
The bus stop is in front of the cafe shop.
Cafe. Yeah, it's in front of the cafe. Not cafe shop. Because if you say shop,
Cafeteria.
we can't say that either. No, we have to say either cafe or coffee shop. We can't say both. Cafe or coffee shop. In English, they
Okay.
tend to say coffee shop, and the confiteria is not in English.
I know, it's in Italian.
In English, you say there's a word for it, but no one knows what it is. There's I can't even remember the word. We have that word, but no one uses it. Okay, you've got some basic idea about where things are and how to talk about location. So let's do this. We're going to try to work on our story. We've already seen how to pitch the story. Give me a second here, and I'm going to go back to our document.
Mm-hmm.
And we've chosen 3 occupations from a former class at the top: architect, deep sea diver, civil engineer, or civil designer. We're going to say engineer because I think that's a little bit more common to say engineer. I have Rosario, I want you to give me another occupation that you can think of, but one that has nothing to do with these 3 occupations. Let's get one more, something really different.
Occupation?
Yeah.
Police officer?
Police officer. Police officer. Very good. Okay. Imagine that an architect, a deep sea diver, a civil engineer, and a police officer meet. Maybe they meet at the coffee shop that we saw.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what they talk about. In this story, I'm going to get rid of the civil engineer only because the civil engineer and the architect are so similar that we might get them confused. So I'm going to keep it to 3 people: an architect, a deep sea diver, and a police officer. Okay. I'm going to ask a question for each of these points below. In order to create the structure of the story, we're going to create 6 sentences to give us the general story. Then we're going to go back in and try to get some details. So I'm going to ask a question for each. What happened? What happened once upon a time? Who is our main character? The architect, the deep sea diver, or the police officer? Who's our main character? Who do you think? It's not a difficult question. Who's the most interesting?
Teacher, what do you mean main character? Main character?
The one the story is going to be about. The one the story is going to center on. Which is the most interesting of these 3? What do you think?
Police officer.
Yeah.
Really? I was going to say the deep sea diver. You wouldn't expect to see a deep sea diver in the middle of a street in a cafe wearing his funny helmet, but that's okay. If you want the police officer, we'll go with the police officer. This will become a cop movie. Once upon a time, there was a
police officer.
Police officer. And
every day.
Well, before we get to every day, let's add a little more information. And what kind of police officer was he? How did he feel? What was he like? What can we say about him? Was it a he or she? We don't know if it's a he or she.
He.
Okay. And he was what? How was he?
Angry?
He was angry. He was so very angry. No one could believe how angry he was. And every day, what would he do?
He come to the cafe.
Every day, he would come.
Yeah.
We got to add would here, Asma. Every day he would come to the cafe and
have a black coffee.
Wait. One at a time. Wait. One at a time. Asma,
Okay.
you first. You first. Every day he would come to the cafe and
ask people, maybe.
Huh? For what? Ask or harass. Harass people. What's harass? What's harass? What does that mean?
Bothering people.
Bother, right. He'd
Okay.
bother people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Why would he bother people? Why was he bothering people?
With his angriness.
Why was he so angry?
Because people park their car in places in a parking spot where they don't supposed to park the car.
Because everyone parked
There?
wherever they wanted.
Yeah.
He couldn't stand it any
More.
more. There we go. There you go.
Couldn't take any longer.
But one day
Uh-huh.
he met someone. One day he met someone. Who did he meet?
He met the architect.
No, he met the deep sea diver.
All right.
But one day he met a deep sea diver who had parked. What did he park in front of the cafe? It's going to be a her. Our deep sea diver is a woman.
Okay.
He met a deep sea diver who parked her.
Who
What?
parked
Car.
her car right in front of the cafe.
No, it wasn't a car. It was bigger than a car.
A boat.
She parked her submarine in front of the cafe. Her giant yellow submarine.
How is that possible?
I don't know. It's unbelievable, isn't it? Her giant yellow submarine in front of the cafe. He was furious.
So pissed.
We can't say that.
Okay.
He was furious because the police commissioner would have his job if he found out. Do you understand that expression? If he found out, would have his job. That means he'd get fired.
Mm-hmm.
Because of that, he hired an architect. Architect. I always spell architect wrong. He hired an architect to do what?
To build, project a parking.
To build a what?
A parking lot?
To build a parking lot, but not just any parking lot. What kind of parking lot was it?
For
It's not-
submarine.
Not just any parking lot. A parking lot for submarines, of course. And especially because of that, many submarines came to
Or
into the city, and many deep sea divers went to the cafe. Until finally, what's the result of our story? Until finally, what happened to our protagonist, our main character? Until finally, cop was, what happened to our police officer?
not coming to the cafe because a stop or take off coming to the cafe.
Who stops? Who stopped?
The police officer.
He's
Because now
yeah.
we have submarine parking.
You mean no one could get into the cafe unless they had a submarine? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, I see. That's a problem. Until finally, the cop. Until finally, regular citizens couldn't get into the cafe unless they had a submarine. So, Pop was in more trouble than ever before with his boss. Now, you have to decide how the story actually unfolds. We've got our framework, and here's our story. This is our structure. Once upon a time, there was a police officer, and he was angry. Every day he would come to the cafe and harass people because everyone parked wherever they wanted. He couldn't stand it anymore. But one day he met a deep sea diver who had parked her giant yellow submarine in front of the cafe. Oh, and that gave him an idea. He was furious at first because the police commissioner would have his job if he found out. However, he realized that if there were submarines there couldn't be any cars parked in the wrong spot. You see how this works? There couldn't be any cars parked in the wrong spot. Because of that, he hired an architect that same day to build a special parking lot. Not just any parking lot, a parking lot exclusively for submarines. And especially because of that, many, many submarines came to the city from that day on, and many deep sea divers went to the cafe. So many, in fact, that it became the Deep Sea Cafe, until finally regular citizens of the city couldn't get into the cafe at all unless they brought a submarine of their own. So the cop was in more trouble than any before with his boss because the boss's favorite cafe was now off limits. And that's not our story. That's our structure. Now we're going to see if we can tell the story. Are you ready? Here's how we tell the story. That's our story structure. Here's how we tell the story. I don't think we're going to get through the whole story, but we can at least begin. In our story, let's go back to my presentation. In stage 3, we ask a story. I'll state a fact about the story. If I ask you a question about the fact, you must state yes or no, like this. Yes, it is. No, it isn't. If the question is with would, yes, it would. No, it wouldn't. If the question is with have, yes, it does, or no, it doesn't. It's another way to say it. We'll go over the have questions in just a minute. If I ask you a question that does not have a yes or no answer, a question with who or what or where, that means we're trying to learn something new. It's about something we don't know. Then all you have to do is give the best answer you can think of. The best answers are the ones that are the funniest, the most creative, or the most unusual. Okay? So that's how we're going to create the details of our story, or at least we're going to give it a try. So I'm going to put our story back on screen. Here we go. Now we know the structure of the story. We know the general idea. Let's see if we can fill in a few details. Okay. I'm going to go around the room. I'll call your names. And don't forget, if it's a fact, it's yes or no. If I ask you who, what, when, where, how, or why, you've got to give me a reason. I may accept your reason or I may not. So, was there a police officer, Alejandra? Was there a police officer, Alejandra?
No,
No?
I, no sé.
There wasn't? Wait a second. We talked about a police officer, so the answer is yes, there was. Repeat. Yes, there was.
Yes, they,
Yes, there was. Yes,
they was.
there was. Take a look in the chat window. Yes, there was. Was there was there a police officer? Yes, there was. Was there an astronaut? Alejandra. Was there an astronaut?
Astronaut? Yes.
Astronaut in space. Was there an astronaut?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, let's find out from Asma. Asma, was there an astronaut in the city? Asma, was there an astronaut?
I don't know what's the meaning of astronaut.
An astronaut is a person in space.
Yes.
Astronauts went to the moon. One day, astronauts will go to Mars. Was there an astronaut, Asma? Yes or no?
No, no,
No, there.
there no,
No, there wasn't.
there wasn't. Yeah. There
Right. If I say was there, you say no, there wasn't.
no.
Okay, that's right. So Alejandro, was there a police officer? Alejandro, was there a police officer?
Uh,
In our story, was there a police officer? Yes or no? Yes.
No entiendo. I understand what.
So, look in the chat window. Police officer. Look in the chat window. Was there a police officer? Look at the question in the chat window. Was there a police officer? Alejandra?
Yes. Excuse me. I understand what made in this moment.
Okay. Do you see the chat window? The Verbling chat? Alejandra? Take a look here. Let me show you. Do you see the question here, Alejandra?
No, no lo veo. No, no hay.
Can you read the question that I wrote here? Can you see it?
No, sí.
You don't see it? Okay, that's a problem. So hold on a second. If you don't see the chat window, wait, one moment. I'll share my screen and I'll write the questions here. Okay? So, here's the question. Was there a police officer? That's the question. Was there a police officer, Alejandra? In the story, was there a police officer? Yes or no? Policia.
Policía.
The answer is yes. Yes, there was.
Okay.
Yes, there was.
Mhm.
Alejandro, was there an astronaut? Was there an astronaut in the story?
Yes, they was.
There was?
No, there wasn't.
No. No?
There wasn't.
Good. No, there wasn't. Okay, very good. No, there wasn't. Was there an I can't spell this word. Was there an architect in the story, Asma? Was there an architect?
Mm,
Just the
yes, there was.
There was an architect, that's right. There was an architect. So the answer is yes,
Yes,
there.
there was an
Architect.
architect.
Right, there was an architect. Alejandra, was there a deep sea diver in the story? Was there a deep sea diver?
yes,
Yes. There
there
was. Very good. Was there a deep sea diver? Yes, there was. Okay, good. I'm thinking about the details of the story. We're not going to have time to create all the details of the story today because we only have about 8 or 9 minutes. But let me ask you some questions about what we talked about first because it's good review. So we've got once upon a time, we've got every day, but one day, because of that, and especially because of that, until finally. Okay, so you can see the 6 parts of our story above. So I'll ask you some questions about those 6 parts. Sorry, back to Asma. Asma,
Mm-hmm.
did
Mm-hmm.
did the police officer have a problem? Did he have a problem?
Yes,
Yes,
uh,
he.
the police office.
Wait. Yes, he.
He
You have to repeat the verb. Yes, he.
he did have.
He did. Period. Yes, he did.
Yes, he did.
That's all. Yes, he did. Very good. Um, Alejandra, did the architect did the architect have a problem?
no, didn't.
He didn't.
Good. Repeat. No, he didn't.
No, he didn't.
Good. So you only repeat the first verb in the yes and no question. This is a yes, no question. You only need to repeat the first verb.
Mm-hmm.
Did the did the did the cop's boss have a problem in the story? Asma, did the cop's boss have a problem in the story?
Yes, he did.
Yes, he did. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What was his problem? What was his problem? At the end of the story, what was his problem?
Uh-huh. Mm, because okay, the problem is because the cafe uh, was now off limit.
Yeah, there you go. What was the problem? What was his problem? The cafe was off limits. To whom? Off limits to whom? To
To the car.
yeah, to anyone. It was off limits. So to whom? To anyone without what?
Mm-hmm.
What? It was off limits to anyone without a without a
Submarine.
without a submarine. What was his
Submarine.
problem? What was his problem? The cafe was off limits. To whom? To anyone without a submarine. So
Yeah.
this one,
Means except.
what's that?
Except means without.
Except means without. Yes. Anyone except if they had.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So these are what we call open questions. So we've got yes, no questions, which is did he, does she, did she? Yes, she does, no, she doesn't. Open questions begin with what, basically.
More details.
What? Yeah, more details. What, where, when, how. These are open questions.
Yeah.
Okay? Yes and no questions begin with do, be, maybe have. In some verb tenses with have. Okay, but we're not going to deal with have today. Oh, also, would, could, should, will, shall, can. So we call those modal verbs. Can, could, will, would, shall, should. So in other words, all of the auxiliary verbs form yes and no questions. All of them. Okay. Will. Oh, let's do an auxiliary verb here. Will the cop, will the police officer ever get back into the cafe? What do you think? Will he ever get back into the cafe? This is your opinion. What do you think? It's your opinion now, Asma. Will he ever get back into the cafe?
Yes.
Yes. He what? Repeat. He will. Yes, he will. Very good. Now I can ask an open question. I could say, why? Why will he? Now you give your opinion. Why will he get back into the cafe in the future? Why?
Because the cafe was now off limit without submarine.
Because you mean in the future it won't be off limits?
Yeah.
Ah, because later on it won't be off limits. Hey, very good. Very good. So, even with will, we have to repeat the words. Yes, he will. No, he won't. Why will he? Because later on it won't be off limits. Okay. Now before we go, I want you to create a question. So Asma, I want you to create a question for Alejandra. Alejandra will answer, and then she's going to ask you a question. I want you to ask her a yes/no question about the story. Okay, Asma?
Was the police officer angry?
Was the police officer angry? Alejandra, was the police officer angry?
Yes, he
Yes?
was. He was.
Yes, he was. Asma, I want you to ask a follow-up question. Now you can say a question with what, where, how, why, etc.
Okay. Why the police officer was angry?
Wait a second. Why
the police
no, wait. Why was he? That's all you have to say.
angry?
Why was he? Or why was he angry?
Okay.
Not why the police officer, but why was. Why was. Why was he angry? Okay, that's a very good question. That's a very good question. Alejandro, why was he angry?
Why?
You have to answer with because.
Oh.
Why was he angry? Why was the police officer angry in the story? Why was he angry? Take a look at the top. Look up here.
Because every day he will hunt the coffee.
Because every day he wanted coffee?
Yes.
Wanted. Okay. Okay. Because every day he wanted coffee, but couldn't have any. Right? Because he couldn't get in to the cafe. There you go. Very good. Very good. Okay, one last one. Alejandra, now I want you to ask a yes and no question to Asma. Your question, yes and no, begins with do or be or have or a modal verb like can, could, will, would, shall, should. I want you to ask a yes and no question about the story to Asma.
Uh,
You can ask about the police officer. You can ask about the deep sea diver. You can ask about the architect. You can ask about the boss of the police officer. You could ask about the place. You could ask about anything.
uh, the police building,
Mhm.
the police what building the park.
Ah, okay, good. Look, did did the police did the police officer build the parking lot? Look at the question. Did the police officer build the parking lot? Can you repeat that for me, Alejandra?
Did the police officer build the parking lot?
Very good. And Asma, did he?
No, he did.
No,
He didn't.
he didn't. Okay? So the obvious question then is who did? If he didn't, who did? Asma, who did?
Architect.
The
The architect
architect did.
did.
That's it. So what you're seeing is the short way to ask and answer questions. Who did? The architect did. Okay? Okay. We've got to stop at this point. But we saw one way to create a story, and in the story you can add all of the vocabulary that we've been learning in Learning Through Pictures. To create details of the story, we would ask yes and no questions about the details, and then we'd create new details by asking who, what, when, where, why, and how. Okay, so we're going to have to continue this in the next class later on, but this gives you an idea of how to participate. So keep this in mind, and we'll review it, and in the next class we'll start a new unit, and we'll try to create a story to help you with vocabulary. Okay? So,
Yeah, thank you, teacher.
I hope this makes sense, but don't forget what you've learned about the difference between yes and no questions and open questions. All right?
Teacher, if it is possible to make or to teach us for many classes who speak who is interested about giving direction.
About giving directions.
Yeah.
Sure, no problem.
Because I think many people.
Uh-huh. So, for example, look at this. One second. Look at this slide. Look at this slide here. Hold on. Can you see this? This is an overview of a city.
Yeah.
So when you say give directions, you mean explain how to get from the railway station to the cafe. That's what you mean.
Yeah. Hope in the future you give us a class like this. Yeah.
How about next Saturday?
Yeah, it's okay for me. Yeah. Yeah, I will wait. Yeah, your schedule. I will see your schedule. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I try to do the picture classes on Saturdays.
Yeah,
So,
because with pictures, I attend your first class and second class.
say again?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
What were you saying? With pictures you attend?
Mm-hmm.
I think we have a delay. Sorry, Asma.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think we have a delay. What were you saying about you attend? I couldn't hear what you said.
yeah. I attend your last classes, and I think with picture I can remember.
Ah, okay. Good,
Through
good.
pictures, yeah. I can, for example, now I think that I remember all occupations that you teach us because when I see the picture, I can more remember and learn it very well. I cannot forget means.
Okay, good. And also, there's a way to practice after the class as well. Let's talk about it in the next class. I'll show you how to review after the class is done because you can go back and use the pictures and try to, for example, if you're going to give directions, you can practice giving directions using the pictures. So there's always a way to review as well. But we'll talk about it more in the next class, okay? If there's another time you're interested in, just send me a message in the Verbling message system. During the week, sometimes there are classes that open, and I can do
Mhm,
the class during the week. It depends.
mhm,
So if there's another time, you tell me, and I'll try to do it at that time. Okay?
mhm. Okay, thank you, teacher.
All right. Okay. That's it for now. I'll see you. I'll be back Monday at 10 a.m. For speaking practice. Monday, 10 a.m. GMT. Okay? Have a great weekend, everyone. See you soon. Bye for
See you
now.
soon. Bye. Take care.
Bye bye.
Bye.